श्री विनय सहस्रबुद्धे जी, श्री रविंद्र साठे जी और मेरा सचिव सुब्बाराव जी, मित्रों, युवा मित्रों, I am really delighted to meet you all, greet you, interact with you for a while. I extend a warm welcome to each and every one of you to Rashtrapati Niwas. I am happy to know that Indian Institute of Democratic Leadership is a unique institution that aspires to create socio-political awareness among the youth, to inculcate and enhance leadership values and capacities and to equip students with the necessary skill sets for a fruitful career in politics, public affairs, voluntary organizations, and allied areas. I am told that the postgraduate program in leadership, politics, and governance is a unique interdisciplinary course designed to bridge the gap between the aspiring youth of the nation and India's democratic political entity and governance. It's truly noteworthy that this program has been designed keeping in view the need to produce trained, ethical, and responsible leaders imbibing the Honorable Prime Minister's vision, new leaders for new India. I'm happy to learn that program has been running for 3 years and there are 25 young leaders from 12 states across India who are all participating in this program this year, aspiring to be proactive leaders and contribute to the growth of new India. I'm told that as part of this program, you are on a study tour to the national capital, visiting various institutions and also places, and also interacting with various ministers to understand their structure, functioning, and governance. Democracy in particular, and politics in general, are the two significant areas of public life where capacity building mechanisms are grossly insufficient. In this regard, I would like to congratulate Rambhau Managi Prabodhini and the entire team behind this program for not only identifying capacity building in this area as a critical need, but also making it a success. I have been to Rambhau Prabodhini Managi on a couple of occasions and participated in some of its programs also. I am very much impressed by the good and constructive work that is being done by the Institute. I congratulate all the scholars present here and extend my best wishes to them for a bright future in public life. Fortunately for you today, the democratic process has become much more engaging and participate than ever. The youth is much more aware of their rights and duties. They aspire to play a proactive role in the process of democracy. At the same time, the government and the political entity needs young talent equipped with the right ideas and competencies to keep pace with the changing times. The world is moving faster, undergoing a radical change. I always say, as we enter the new phase of LPG, liberalization, privatization, globalization, the world has become a small village. What is here, happening here, will be known in Washington in a few minutes. What is happening there, that also will be known here. That throws many opportunities, but also challenges. We have to equip ourselves to meet those challenges and grab those opportunities. I am sure that you will succeed in forging a bright future for this country because you are the future. My dear young friends, Indian democracy has proved to be a miracle by the way it has expanded and consolidated in our country during the last 7 decades. Assiduously defying many doomsayers. They said India, no, has no future. Britishers, while leaving, they expressed a doubt whether we will be able to manage ourselves. It has also proved to be a theoretical surprise defying the traditional theory that democracy succeeds only in high-income societies and have bleak prospects in poor and diverse societies. At the stroke of independence, India was both poor at that time, before that it was rich again, and illiterate besides a diverse society which was not amenable for the survival of democracy. But the saga of the journey of democracy in our country has disapproved all such assumptions. In the first general elections held in 1952, 10.59 crore voters, accounting for 61.14% of the eligible voters, exercised their franchise. In the last general elections held in 2019, 73.64 crore voters, accounting for 67.09% of the eligible voters, went to the voting booths in highest ever voter turnout so far. This ever-increasing voter turnout and enthusiastic participation holding mirror to the durability of our democracy is nothing short of a miracle. We need to briefly reflect on the reasons for the consolidation of democracy in our country. Democratic form of governance is not new to India. Even during the days of Gautama Buddha, 2,500 years ago, India had many self-governing republics in the form of Janapadas. These ancient republics were destroyed due to wars among the kings, but the democratic ideas continued to flourish. During the colonial era under British rule, India came under centralized control of allied rulers, and there was no self-governance. Our constitution makers embarked on an unprecedented, extraordinary journey when they decided on creating a democratic republic based on individual liberty, fundamental rights, and universal adult franchise. India's democracy is mature, stable, and has always shown refreshing capacity to adapt to changing conditions and uphold democratic institutions and practices. We are and always have been capable of solving out our internal issues ourselves. In the recent times, there have been attempts by certain international agencies and bodies to interfere or comment on India's internal affairs. This is not welcome. It is totally unwarranted and uncalled for, and these agencies must desist from such actions. We know how to handle our issues, and we don't want anybody to interfere in our internal affairs. No country with self-respect can accept any outside interference. That's why the other day, when someone was talking about European Union discussing about CAA, I have commented from the chair, let them take care of themselves. We are capable of deciding ourselves what is good, what is bad. And I said, if we also in Indian Parliament discuss about Brexit or exit, what is the position, you understand. So these people, they have that mind that they know everything and they want to give advice without bothering to look inner words to know what is happening and addressing those problems. Lot of disinformation campaign, misinformation, disinformation, lack of information, and also wrong information is going on in the country in the recent years about the country, about our secular fabric, about our politics and all. India is secular, not because of it has been inserted in the constitution. Secularism is in the veins and blood of every Indian, number one. Second, we are one of the most ancient civilizations. We were known as Vishwaguru once upon a time. We had maximum GDP, 1/6 of the world GDP at one time. We were so rich. Afterwards, the foreigners came, they attacked us, ruled us, ruined us, looted us, cheated some of our minds also. That's another problem. Some of our people think we are inferior, they are superior. And they start thinking in terms of those ideas. And they, while leaving, they said that you can't live together. So let the Muslims have one country, let the Hindus have another country. Absurd theory. they have propounded to weaken us. And now also some of the forces, they are not happy about the growth that the country is making. That's why these sorts of things are happening. They are not able to digest our intelligence, our growth. See the multinational companies. Good number of them are headed by Indians. And also, we are now moving ahead in IT, in pharmaceutical, in many of the areas, which they won't openly say, but some of them are not able to digest. India, again, rising. India never attacked any country in its history. Even when it was known as Vishwaguru, all others came and attacked us, as I explained to you. But our history is such, we can be proud that we are Indians. We believe in the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Jana Sukhina Bhavantu. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. So, we would like to politely tell them, you please take care of your people, your country, and we are capable of resolving our issues, if any. India will continue to be a model to the world when it comes to functioning of a strong and vibrant democracy. My dear youngsters, it is the quality of democracy in terms of free and fair political electoral process and the quality of governance that really matters. Nevertheless, there are many increasingly evident distortions in our electoral process, which are undermining our accomplishments and impeding our twin national goals of poverty eradication and rapid economic growth. We have made so much progress under different regimes, and we are moving faster. But still, there are certain areas, grey areas. Around 20% of the people are living under below poverty line. Around 20% are illiterates even today, after this much phenomenal growth. And there are areas where there is certain amount of social discrimination, certain areas, not that, and also gender discrimination. So these are the challenges the political leadership, particularly the younger generation who want to join politics, they should understand these dimensions of these challenges and try to address them effectively. The second is the increasing attempts in India about the enormous money power, often unaccounted illegal in politics and elections. Efforts are being made to process the entire black money. A lot of legislations have been brought in, reforms have been brought in, and that also people started a negative campaign saying that this so-called, Notbandi, or whatever it is, they started saying, no, how can it happen? We have introduced a form where Jana Dhana, that is JAM, Jana Dhana, JAM, Aadhaar mobile, opening a bank account. It's the biggest transformation. I was minister at that time. And then also the new changes we are trying to bring in, they should be further accelerated. The second is the increasing attempts, as I told you, to entice the voters with short-term benefits. This is another weakness that has kept in our political system. You are there in power for 5 years, and you start thinking about poor and thinking about vulnerable sections at the end of 4.5 years, and then come out with lollipops. This free, that free, that free. Target groups according to their own estimate, and then try to give them हम ये फ्री देंगे वो फ्री देंगे वगैरह, which is not possible because of the economy of the state, financial health of the state. But still, people are trying to entice the voters. Do your financial position allow this free? They have no answer. Then what is the guarantee that this can be carried forward? Because you are making a promise at the end of your career, your tenure. So this is another important issue. We should move to a system that where you give a manifesto, 5 years to come, these are the areas of my concern, these are the areas of my priority, this is my goal, these are my targets, and I am going to meet them like this. And next time when I come, these are my promises at that time. And that manifesto has to be analyzed And based on the previous performance, people have to come to the conclusion. But you are seeing what is happening. What we need is a long-term goals of basic amenities, infrastructure, quality education, quality health care, sanitation, growth, ending urban-rural divide, job opportunities. So as young and aspiring public servants, you must be at the forefront of overcoming these challenges. Always remember that poverty can only be eradicated by enhancing real incomes and creating economic opportunities to all, particularly to the poor and deprived. Poverty cannot be eradicated by freebies. That will be temporary. That's why there is a saying, try to teach how to catch a fish. Don't give him a fish, free fish. If you give one variety of fish in the afternoon, he will ask for another variety in the evening. If you don't give, he will be disappointed. But instead of that, teach him how to catch. That should be the approach. That's why it took a lot of time for eradication of poverty. Some progress has been made. We would have made much more progress. Our country would have become much more stronger economically, socially, but for these weaknesses. Ultimately, transparent budgeting. What is the revenue? What is the likely increase of revenue? What is the likely increase of expenditure? How do you plan to meet it? How much is your capacity? And then how much you are borrowing? I am not going to be there. If I come back, okay, I'll see. Otherwise, I am not going to be there. So let me make promises left and right. Let me borrow money. That's why this Fiscal Responsibility Act has come. That has to be strictly implemented. This is one area. And secondly, the budget has to be very transparent. Local empowerment to enable people to see how tax money is translating into tangible services and better service delivery are critical to help citizens make informed political choices. What is the revenue of a municipality, panchayat? How you are going to spend? How much you earn, how much you spend? That has to be displayed before the people. There must be a transparency and accountability. This is one aspect. And elections and electoral process are the fountainhead of the sanctity of parliamentary democracy. The purity or the impurity of these processes determine the quality and the sanctity of our polity. India, our constitution, our system do not accept religious reservations. Particularly also this was discussed in Constituent Assembly. We don't want further division of the country. You should be giving representation on the backwardness, on the economic consideration, social backwardness. All these things are understandable. The deprived sections has to be given, but not on the basis of religion. Because again, it will be dividing the people. We should not allow integrity of our democracy to buckle under the weight of money. This vast, illegitimate expenditure, the whole democratic process is undermined and the legitimacy of the system is getting eroded. It's also corroding the faith in democracy and promoting cynicism. Among some people, कोई भी आएगा कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. ये भी कुछ लोगों में ऐसा भावना है. Mere expenditure ceilings and exhaustions are not enough. Some people are saying, no, put a ceiling on expenditure. Okay, we have done it. And then some people are talking of state funding also. उससे भी कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. And then पैसा उन्हीं का नहीं है तो और भी उधार से खर्च करने के लिए प्रयास करेंगे. Blaming parties around will not help. No, unless you, that is the people, the citizens, they must be alert. They must understand. Good sense and wisdom lie in applying correctives to address the problems rather than throwing blame on others. ये लोग उनको blame करेंगे, वो लोग उनको blame करेंगे. Holding of simultaneous polls is also an idea worth considering. इन्होंने सजेस्ट किया ऐसा नहीं है तो बहुत दिन से चल रहा है. I remember during my younger days, all elections, parliament, Vidhan Sabha, municipality, panchayat, all used to be completed within 1 month, 15 days even. Put some elections simultaneously except the local body, including cooperative elections also. Otherwise, diversion of the bureaucracy. and also political leadership. Every 3 months, 6 months, there are election festivals. Festivals means you must give something. And then you will not be able to take tough decisions. Removing encroachment is a tough decision. You don't do it because अभी चुनाव है सर. चुनाव होने दीजिए, बाद में करेंगे. Punishing the erring people. अरे भाई तो इनको punish करे तो वो हमको punish करेंगे चुनाव में. ये भी. So if once elections are there 5 years, then at least you will be assured of the tenure, and then you will have peace, and you will competent people, they will be able to pay attention. If because of frequent elections and you have this tension, you will not be able to pay attention to the long-term problems. So that's one aspect which has to be considered. And I strongly feel there is also need for strict code of conduct to be adhered by political parties. Not only candidates, political parties also. They must have a code of conduct during election and also in public life, even in parliament and legislature. When I talk to MLAs and MPs, I say, "Bhai, क्या कर रहे हैं आप लोग?" Sir, आप अन्यथा मत लीजिए सर, ऊपर से आदेश आया. That means parties, instead of guiding their elected representatives, they are encouraging them to do this. आज house नहीं चलेगा. Some members come and they, out of respect they say, "Sir, we want to tell you privately, आज house नहीं चलेगा, कल भी नहीं चलेगा." तो वो आपको मूड मालूम होगा. इसलिए instead of adjourning 1 hour, 2 hours, periodic adjournment, adjourn for the day. ये भी आजकल थोड़ा ये हो गया ना. So with regard to funding, with regard to expenditure and political training of the cadres, the parties should train their cadre. Every reader need to be trained. Without training, how do you get? That's why it's a good course for you. Every political party, during my student days, political parties used to hold training classes for months together. I used to see Jana Sangh. I used to see Swatantra Party, Acharya Rangas, Minu Masani's party, Pilo Modi's. And I used to see communist parties. Initial days, I used to see even Congress party also. Holding training classes to train their cadre. Now some of them are training how to disturb the house, derail the democracy. Some of them. So I would like to suggest you must create awareness among the people. If you are preparing yourself to take the mantle of leadership, you must make sure that you have the 4 C's. This is my favorite theme. 1, namely, first C, character. You must have character. 2nd, conduct. 3rd, caliber. 4th, capability. Character, caliber, capacity and capability. You must have these 4 C's. But unfortunately, some people in the recent past, for years, they have invented the other 4 C's. They are caste, community, criminality and cash. Shortcut method. It's very dangerous for democracy. And you have seen how some parties have won on that basis. How parties, leadership, were able to get some amount of votes and all, because it's easy to appeal on this. And though they are not going to do anything to that caste or to that community, nobody can do it. And if you are bringing electricity to a village, you are bringing electricity to the entire village. If you are connecting the village by road, you are connecting the entire village by road. Whether the Muslims or Hindus or Christians or forward or backward, whatever it is. Its welfare or the development should be focused on the people, not on one community or one this thing. And political parties, they start making these allegations and all, they do it. So keep yourselves updated on what is happening. Someone asked me about what to do. First, read widely. Nowadays, reading one newspaper is not sufficient, because newspapers some are controlled by political leaders, some are controlled by political parties, some are funded by the business groups to promote their business interest and other vested interests. Media, once upon a time, used to be very objective. People used to say politics is a mission. Media is a mission. You might have heard about the story of Ramnath Goenka, a great brave man who fought against the tyranny and all. Many such examples used to be there those days. But But of late, these professions, people are saying that that was a mission. But now some of them convert into a commission, giving remission and doing omission in their responsibilities. We should not allow it in our life. And then be disciplined. Discipline makes you big, I can tell you. I can speak out of my own personal life. Discipline, hard work, commitment to an ideology, that makes you strong, morally, even politically also. But nowadays we are seeing ideology, सिद्धांत कम हो गया, राजधांत ज़्यादा हो गया, ऐसा करके हंगामा ये वो and all, no ideology. And it's earlier, if particular person is, this man is a Janasanghi, this man a communist, this man a Congress, lifelong. Today, I was sarcastically commenting about the political leaders. In every city or railway stations, you have the arrival times. कौन सी गाड़ी कब आ रहे, कब जा रहे, बस कितने बजे आ रहे, कितने बजे जाएगा, कौन सी गांव के लिए. I think there is a need to put up such signboards in districts and towns also. कौन सी नेता, कौन सी पार्टी में है अभी लेटेस्ट. कारण क्या है, सुबह एक पार्टी, शाम को एक पार्टी. ये भी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है. This is a weakness that has crept into our system. We join politics as a mission, for a passion, to serve the nation. And then we have an ideology. And we must stick to that. Stick to that. It will not be encouraging in the beginning. It may not be attractive. But long term, it will help you. It will help you. That does not mean, sir, if that party goes wrong, if the party leadership do not follow the ideology, do you mean to say that we should continue forever? No. Question the leader. And raise it in the party forum. And then, if you want to leave the party and leave the post also. You want to. And then the law was brought in, anti-defection law, and then the result was retail defection is gone, wholesale defection is going on, batches, 2/3, 1/3, like that. Now things we are all seeing. So there is a need to further strengthen anti-defection law. And people, they try to justify. Sir, this is not defection, sir, it's an affection. We are doing it to perfection. Some people are doing it. You all know, you have been watching what is happening, who is who and all. So this has to be corrected. That is possible only by one, youngsters coming into politics and sticking on to ideology, commitment with character, caliber, capacity and conduct, and also public awareness. Defeat the defector. If you do not resign from his post. You want to resign from MLA, MP, okay, and contest on the other party symbol, fine, it's allowed in democracy because change of heart, sometimes as I told you, circumstances. You can't say what 40 years back we said, same thing is not relevant. I remember as a student, when the computerization was introduced in banks, we took a procession and said, automation, anti-nation. Automation, anti-nation. Because you will be losing jobs. That was the concept. But can you say it now? No. With the changing transformation and technological advancement and all, you have to change your thinking. So on such matters I can understand. That's a program, policy or experience. Out of it you take a collective decision or individual decision also. But just changing because this party is not winning. I remember when I joined politics, one elderly person who was a elderly man, respected, belonging to Congress party at that time. He told me, my uncle told him, our boy, you want to join this party. I was not intending to join, I was trying to admire Vajpayee ji and I used to announce about his arrival into my town. So he said, अरे भाई बाबू, ये पार्टी कभी भी सत्ता में आएगा नहीं. ये तो उत्तर भारतीय पार्टी है, ये पढ़ी लिखे लोगों का पार्टी है, ये शहरी इलाका लोगों का पार्टी है. अंत में उन्होंने कहा ये शाकाहारी पार्टी है. तब तक मैं सुनते रहा, जब उन्होंने कहा शाकाहारी पार्टी है तो मेरे मन में भी अनुमान है, अरे सच में मैं तो पक्का नॉन वेजिटेरियन था उस समय. अभी थोड़ा चेंज किया, डॉक्टर्स ने कहा आप यू हैव ईटन एनफ फॉर लाइफ सो प्लीज रिड्यूस. आई एम ट्राइंग टू regulate my food. But So, but still I made inquiries and then I continued same from there to here. Now I am not in politics. I have resigned from political party and also from parliament to accept this constitutional responsibility. Constant same approach, same path. That has really helped me. Otherwise, my background is I am from an agriculture family. None in my family were in politics. But still, I could make way up to this because of consistency, because of hard work. And then the youngsters must also read the debates of the Constituent Assembly, must read manifesto of different political parties. I don't straight away advise you all to join politics. Observe politics first. Understand politics. And then make a considered decision. That is what is required. Acting in haste and repenting in leisure is not going to help us. Hasty में कुछ करते हैं फिर बाद में repent करते. And we don't, people do not have the habit of reading what is what. Even we are seeing what is happening. Recently I went to IIT Chennai. They asked me, sir, what about CAA? I said, I can't comment on political this thing, but I can tell you. First read CAA. What is CAA? Understand. And then react and act. Without reading. Many people. And without knowing, even दुनिया भर में भी प्रचार हो रहा है. And the other day, unwisely, that United Nations Human Rights Commission, they wanted to join the Supreme Court, impede themselves. That means they have not been briefed properly, they have not read it fully, they don't understand what it is. I said it because I was presiding officer of the Rajya Sabha, which has approved this legislation. What is 370? What is Tribal Talaq? What is this Insolvency Code? What is Bankruptcy Act? What is all this? What is GST? Like that you must study. And what is river linking? Is it possible and feasible? What about crop insurance? What has been the experience so far? What are the changes you need in our education system? What are the Kothari Commission said? What is the Kasturi Rangan Commission has recommended? What are the models? One must read all this. Then develop your knowledge and then make a decision. This is what I suggest to all of you. And also build your communication skills. Constantly widen your horizons. Don't be with a closed mind. Be open. Be open. But be consistent. Study the lives of the great men and women who worked to build this nation. And the work they did, choose your role models wisely. I used to go to Parliament, library, Assembly library, and I first entered Assembly. I entered Assembly at the age of 27 plus. So I used to read which reader said what in 1952, 57, 62, 67. And then follow some of their advices. Some may not be totally relevant as of now, but mostly you will get an idea, you will get a guidelines. This is also equally important. Acquiring knowledge, correcting information. And information with confirmation, I always say, is more than an ammunition. So correct the information, correct information. And then communicate skills. For that you must know the people's language. There is another weakness that is creeping into our system. People speak in English, people do not know. Readers speak in English, people do not know. You must try to learn as many Indian languages as possible. Learning English, speaking in English also is good. But first, mother tongue. That's why I've been telling the younger generation of the country, students, wherever I go, I said mother tongue, promote, practice, propagate. Feel proud to speak in mother tongue. Mother tongue is like your eyes. The other language is like your spectacles. If you have eyesight, then spectacles will work. आंखें नहीं है तो फिर स्पेक्टिकल पहनने से क्या होगा? Even Ray-Ban glass पहने तो भी जुबान से कुछ आएगा नहीं. I try to make it simple to make the youngsters to understand. So we must know the people's language. Initially when I came, I did not know much Hindi. But I became president of this party, going around the country. And I started speaking in English. तो मजा नहीं है लोगों को, समझ में भी नहीं आता. Then slowly I started picking up Hindi. Then by South Indian आके हिंदी में बोल रहे तो इधर उधर कुछ गलती आई तो भी लोग उसको स्वीकार करते थे. So try to get mastery over first mother tongue and try to learn as many languages as possible and speak. That's a great quality. I met one national political leader in my younger days, heard his speeches. He was one of the fastest, brilliant speaker in Indian politics, whom I read and saw, Jagannath Rao Joshi. He used to be speaking in Kannada, Marathi, Sanskrit, English, Hindi, with the same velocity in all languages, and then carry the people with him. So mastery over the language, that is also required. And in Parliament also I started allowing now 22 languages. Any language you can speak in Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, Malayali, Assami, Punjabi, Bhojpuri, Dogri, Santhal. शुरू किया हमने थोड़ा प्रोत्साहन करने के लिए. You will be able to articulate better. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel in 1946, he went to Nagpur University and addressed the students and told them, by learning language is not more important, first learning subject. ना बच्चे को आप पहले एकदम आप इंग्लिश में पढ़ाई शुरू करें, वो पहले उनका समय भाषा समझने में सीखने में समय जाएगा, फिर बाद में भावना. फर्स्ट he must now learn things in his own mother tongue. He said it in 1946 in the Nagpur University convocation or conference. So it's how relevant even today. All the great leaders of different great countries, except that America and few European countries, few, not all, they come here. French president knows English but speaks in French. Russian president, to some extent, know English because I interacted with him privately, but speaks in Russian. Same is Germany, all, even Iranian president, last time when I met him, someone told me, they briefed me about his profile and all. PhD in English. I thought, oh, this man is going to speak in English, I can also easily interact. But he did not, he spoke in Persian. And then I asked Sushma ji, kya in logon ko Angrezi malum hai kya? Sushma ji said, they know English, they don't want to speak in English, they want to speak in mother tongue. That is the importance of the language we have to understand. And also protect, promote and propagate our unique culture. We must keep our culture, our tradition, our heritage, our values in mind before doing anything at all. When I became vice president, many people told me, journalists, sir, now you have become vice president. I said, okay, vice president, so what? They were trying to say something. I understood it, but I pretended as if I do not know. I said, kya hai? Sir, now you have become vice president, sir. I said, so, dress, sir, dress. I said, no change of dress, only change of address. From 30 Abdul Kalam Road to Maulana Azad Road 6 now. It doesn't make a difference. And moreover, it will have an impact. I can tell you, recently I have been to Azerbaijan, Baku, capital. There was a meeting of 120 leaders of NAM countries. Out of 120, I think I was the only man, or two people, Iranian president, myself. We were on our national attire. All others were wearing suit. But that did not diminish your stature. So dress mein nahi. What is your worth, your contribution, that is more important. Does not mean no dress में पहनना नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, जो भी पसंद है आप पहनो. And you must treat this as a mission for your future of the nation. Your mandate does not end there. Always strive for the peace and prosperity of the entire world, because peace is the prerequisite for progress. As I told you, if you have tension, you cannot pay attention. So peace is very much required. That has been our policy of even our present Prime Minister. He also wanted to be friendly with all. He invited all SAARC countries for swearing-in ceremony, including our traveling neighbor, who is aiding, abetting, funding, training terrorism. Of course, they did not reciprocate the friendship. That's a different matter. So we need to promote peace in life. Before I end, let me give you Gandhiji's talisman, which serves as a guiding light to for your career. Gandhiji said, I will give you a talisman. Whenever you are in doubt, or when the self becomes too much with you, apply the following test. Recall the face of the poorest and the weakest man whom you may have seen, and ask yourself if the steps you contemplate is going to be part of any use to him. Will he gain anything, the poor? Will it restore him to a control over his own life and destiny? In other words, will it lead to Swaraj for the hungry and spiritually starving millions? Then you will find your doubts and yourself, those doubts melting away. This is what Gandhiji has said. So please always keep that in mind. And then try to be progressive, and progressive in thought, progressive in action. And one has to be smart. Smartness always. Smart do not mean height, weight, coat, boots, suit, hat. Smart in thinking, smart in action, smart in implementation, smart in delivery. That is what is required. I wish you all the best for your better future. Make a study, then choose your future, and then work hard, aim high, dream high, and then you will achieve further heights. God bless you all.